Right, Deck, we are back. Proudly sponsored by Botovo. Thank you, Mr. Botovo.
Botovo Casino.
Yeah, I think I'm saying it right. Still haven't had a name check on it, but Botovo, they haven't complained. If you're thinking
that's the line now, is it?
If you're thinking that's not how you say it,
yeah.
Just write into them, and then they will know just how many people are listening. In fact, this could be just pure perfect marketing. Yeah. So they're looking after us now.
They're the Artur Beterbiev of casinos, aren't they?
Yeah, we're sticking with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, the lava.
Until Bivol beats him, and then we have to think of a new name.
Yeah. Shout out Botovo Casino.
Hello, Deck.
Hello, George. What a lovely greeting on a Monday morning. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Can't complain. I'd be better, George, though, if I had been at your barbecue this weekend.
Yeah, why did you not come?
I had plans. The in-laws were down.
Yeah, well, did they come with tomahawk steaks?
Not a single steak between them.
A rack of lamb ribs? No.
Nope. And what made it even worse is I was getting the photos of your. I was going to say getting photos of your meat then, which is probably not ideal. But I was getting photos of tomahawk steaks and whatnot, and it was taking me back to last year's barbecue, obviously the famous Groves barbecue. And what a way, George, to kick off the weekend of boxing and also our return to the How About That sphere.
Yeah, we've decided that it's time.
It's time.
For now, it is time now for the How About That to return. And how about that then, Deck? We're back. And it was a good time to come back.
Yeah, not a moment too soon, I would say.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, meat sweats, with excitement, though, about what is to come.
Yeah.
Great bit of boxing at the weekend. And there's a bit of boxing coming up this weekend. So it felt like the right time to come back. And I'll tell you what, this is something that's perplexed me.
Go on.
And you posted on Instagram, talking of like comebacks or just being missing, basically. Hammerhead Sharks.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought this up because this has been irking me. So I put on Instagram, I can't take credit for this, but let me just find this. Let me find this person, whoever they were. Where is it? George Groves. That's your name, isn't it? So this person wrote on, I guess it was Twitter, and I saw it. It was like a meme or whatever. And they said, where's this? Oh, Gary Treeman. God knows who Gary Treeman is, but he said, anyone else get the vibe that Hammerhead Sharks fell off? When I was a kid, I felt like they were a top 2 to 3 shark. Now I never think about them. And it's so true. Whatever fucking happened to Hammerhead Shark? I used to be petrified of them when I lived in Swindon. The Hammerhead Shark is gone. What's happened?
There was, sharks in general were like a big part of your childhood, weren't they?
Yeah, it's because of Jaws, I think.
Well, maybe it stemmed from Jaws. There was, let's get it here now. Most kids today, probably what they're thinking. Baby Shark. It was Baby Shark. There wasn't a hammerhead in sight. But when I was a kid, 90s kid, Street Sharks. That was the one. Do you remember Street Sharks, Deck?
No. I know we're similar age. What year were you born? 90.
88.
I was 87.
Street Sharks, mutant sharks, right? Like fucking biceps to the gills, sort of Arnie sharks. They're out. I can't remember if they were good or bad. I got a feeling they must have fought crime. Otherwise, how did they get on the telly, right? But they were like humanoid sort of sharks. They could run around, and they used to do kick-ass like action figures because that's what me as a kid. I used to like a little figure so that they always just had to fight each other. Sharky and George.
Yeah, sharks were everywhere. Sharks were everywhere when we were kids, but
the hammerheads especially. Hammerhead was the cool one. Like if I reckon if you ask any 10-year-old now was hammerhead shark, they're just like, I'm chatting shit, mate.
I'd say piss off and probably rob you. That's what 10-year-olds do these days. But no, the hammerhead shark, and also if you look at a hammerhead shark, right, they're mental. Imagine being the first person to see a hammerhead shark. You'd be like, what the hell is that thing? Anyway, and the tiger shark. I remember the tiger shark. That's cool. In fact, there was a swimming team in Swindon called the Swindon Tiger Sharks. So everyone wanted to be a tiger shark. Wouldn't get that nowadays.
No.
Anyway, is this a podcast about sharks? We got
It could be.
well, it's good. No, we've had a lot of messages. Obviously, people going, "Where have you been?" and all that. And the truth is, we missed some big shows, didn't we? In our little hiatus, we missed some big stuff to talk about. Luckily, we got back for the biggest of all, and that was the GGBC Derby to end all Derby rematch.
Yeah, Derby return.
The Derby return, the Magnificent Seven return. They rode again in Birmingham, and at the top of it was our old mates, Nathan Heaney and Brad Pauls, who obviously boxed back in March, Fight of the Year contender. They couldn't be split that night. So there's only one way to find out who's the best, and that's to fight again. And Brad Pauls, the man who, after he suffered the first defeat of his career, which was last February 2022, not last February, February before, he got in touch with us and said, George, I need some advice on bouncing back. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do here. What can you tell me about getting back to the top after a defeat and a setback like this? So we did a podcast, an episode on that. If you've never listened to that, obviously old school listeners, you would have heard that. If you haven't heard that, it's a good bit of context. And Brad Pauls has been reclimbing the ladder, and now he's won what he likes to call the trifecta, the Southern area, the English, and now the British. He stopped Nathan Heaney in the 24th round of their two-fight derby, the 12th and final in Birmingham this weekend, and it was some fight and some stoppage. George,
It was. Was you there, Deck? You were reporting from home.
I was at home.
He's at home with the in-laws again.
Exactly. I couldn't fucking get away.
Talking about sharks.
Yeah.
It was epic fight. So if you haven't seen it, it's a fight that you could know the result because you listen to this pod and still go back and watch and enjoy. Two ECM legends of the George Grove Boxing Club, both were there at the live show. Nathan Heaney came down from Stoke on his own early. That showed some real dedication from him. But they both looked in tremendous shape on the scales. The fight, I think, lived up to what we thought it was. It was almost, well, there was a lot of similarities between the first and the second one. Heaney was boxing well, wasn't he? Like in that first half of the fight. But Paul's always sort of was there or thereabouts. You know, it was close. It was close. And then I wasn't sitting there with a pen and paper scoring it, but I think it was Richie Woodall's scorecard popped up with a round to go, and I think they were even. I think he had a 114, 114, 113, 113, whatever that would have been. So it could have all still been to play for in that last round. Did it feel like that to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was very close. I think I heard the broadcaster say that like Pauls was miles ahead on the card, not miles ahead, but he was ahead on the card. So he didn't necessarily need the stoppage, but he was told, Terry Stewart in his corner said, put it on him in this 12th round. And within a minute, it was after 54 seconds of that 12th round, the fight was over. Pauls listened to his corner and went and followed the instructions and did the business. And it was a close fight. I'm with you. I thought Heaney was boxing really well first few rounds. He was like, oh, he's just keeping him on the end of this jab here. And he's not, Pauls can't really get anything off. Obviously, he's the sort of puncher in the fight, you would say, if there was one. But he just managed to close the gap and dropped Heaney in the fourth, had a crisis. Heaney came back from that. It was one of those fights that swung both ways. But the good news is, George, I've got a little surprise for you.
Yes.
Brad Pauls himself is ready and waiting to join this podcast. He's going to come on and speak to us. And rather than us prattling on about it, we're going to get him in. He's going to, I think he's ready to come in now. Should we ask him about sharks or should we just ask him about the fight?
Well, let's talk about the fight first, and we've got time. Yeah. Obviously,
sharks.
I mean, he knows a lot about sharks. You know,
he's from Cornwall. He's from the coast. Yeah.
The Nuki bomb. He will know what happened to the sharks.
Yeah. Maybe beat them all up. Anyway, let's get Brad in.
Sorry, boys.
Here he is, the Nuki bomb.
Yes, Nuki bomb.
And the new.
Saying that for 12 weeks.
Yeah. And he's still got the black eyes. Look at that. This is proper podcasting. Brad Pauls, the new British middleweight champion. First from Cornwall since 1939. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's been 85 years of hurt for my Cornish people. Didn't come home last week, but I came home this week. All right.
Well done. How does it feel to win the British title? Like,
Yes, it's very satisfying. Like I've scratched an itch, especially the sort of how it happened. Obviously, the first time was a little bit controversial, and George, you would know about getting it after a few attempts. Probably makes it a bit sweeter when you eventually get there. You did 4, I did for my second, but yeah, it was just everything I dreamed of and have talked about it for years. The trifecta of domestic titles, the Southern area. The English, which obviously I spoke to you two after I lost at the first attempt there, and then the British, finally. So yeah, long time coming. I've boxed for 21 years and I've been pro for almost 9. It wasn't an overnight success. I had to keep slugging away, and I got here in the end, finally.
How was how pleasing was it to do it in that sort of fashion as well? Because 12th round stoppage, like they're so dramatic anyway. And we were just talking before you came on. We're not sure exactly what the cards were saying. Were you up on the cards? It wasn't like a smash and grab. You would, if it had gone the distance, you were getting the decision anyway.
Yeah. So I was seeing one of the judges in the hotel, and I think there was all the same actually. They had me 4 or 5 up at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And my corner told me just before the 12th, it's close, so don't leave it to the judges if you can. I think I might have hurt him in the 11th, and he was, I guess, a little bit hurt in the 12th. So I seen he was there for the taking. And if you can not leave it to the judges, don't leave it to the judges, I suppose. It takes all the doubt out the question, especially after the last time. So yeah, it was a good fight.
Yeah, it really was. And that stoppage, like, I don't know. We were just chatting here. I thought that Nathan had started quite well. And he was doing quite well in the first couple of rounds. How were you feeling? And obviously you dropped him in the 4th, but it was like, okay, he's got a clear game plan, and it's just try and keep you away from him, basically, and try and win this on points. Yeah,
I think he started a lot better than he did in the first fight. He really had the bit between his teeth, which was sort of showing on fight week. He had a bit more aggression and he had a bit more about him. And yeah, I'd say he'd improved from the last fight, but I just had to be 1 or 2% better as well. So I knew at some point I would get to him. At some point I was going to get to Nathan. I didn't think it would come as early as the 4th. That was just more good timing. But I know I'd get to him later on. And just happened.
Yeah. So what you feeling in that 4th round? He goes down. Is there a feeling of, oh, I'm nearly here now? This is nearly done, or is it like, no, stay switched on? Still got 7 and a bit rounds to go.
Yeah, more keeping the composure, because I know Nathan's been down before and got up, and he's quite a sort of durable guy, and I didn't want to go gung-ho and empty the tank on him in the 4th. So long left in the fight, 12, like 6, 7 rounds to go. So, yeah, you've probably thrown a shot like it, George, where you don't throw it like your absolute hardest with the intent to knock him out. It's quite sort of a smoother one, sort of less effort.
Goes through the target, yeah.
Quite sort of surprised he went down. And I was like, okay, that's going to help my game plan come in a little bit faster. It's going to put a dent in him sooner. So,
mate, jump up now. Show us on the camera. You got enough room?
Not really.
Show us how that shot goes in. No, not yet.
Funny enough, actually, it's the same shot you caught me with, George, back in 2018. It was off of a lazy jab, so I pull in and then timed the right, boom, over the top, and Nathan was throwing an uppercut, a right uppercut.
Yeah.
Around, but I didn't throw it too hard. It was just smooth, and he comes square onto it. So, yeah, a nice shot, and then just sped up the plan we had going anyway. So it's good.
Is that the one? Is that the one you got with in sparring, George? Slipped outside the jab, right hand over the top.
No, he gave it to me, man. It was my last spar. I think I can't remember what camp. It might have been Eubank camp or one of the camps, and
Eubank. Yeah.
He gave it to me. He was like, I thought I needed a confidence booster, so he took a dive for us. But I appreciate you, Mr. Pauls. It worked. It worked a treat.
Great shot.
So we're talking Monday morning here. Talk us through the last 36 hours or whatever. What's happened since you stepped out of that ring as British champion, and what have you been up to?
I've turned all notifications off my phone because it's hectic, really hectic.
What were the notifications? Was it like, your Ricardo delivery?
Deliveroo.
Deliveroo.
He's so
Right.
it's got it's gone. But yeah, I'll get through the messages and stuff. I've just been spending a bit of time with my family. I just seen a nephew that was born at the start of the month and ate some nice food at my sponsors and stuff. But it's more this week. It's all the media stuff, and I've got Talk Sport later and BB's local news coming down. And yeah, it's not really a week off, to be honest. It's quite hectic.
No, but that's the sign of a good performance. You always want to budget a week after the fight to clean up, to mop up the victory and build for the future. So I mean, you're only 36 hours in to what's next. But have you thought about it already? Is there a plan? Is there?
Yeah, we've had little chats about it. I went and seen Nathan in the change room after the fight, and the first thing he said, like, honour the rematch, like he did for me. And I said, absolutely, it's the right thing to do. He gave me another chance, and I'll do exactly the same for him. So I guess it's going to be round 25 by the end of the year. Going to be absolutely sick of the sight of each other. But if he wants the rematch, I will happily oblige. I feel that's a good fight and the right thing to do. So we'll see what the teams come up with.
That Nathan, obviously, when Nathan won the British title, he came in to see us that week, and it's one of them where this is the time to capitalize on it. And you, Paddy Hobbs, your man, he's the man at getting you all over the shop. But you're going to be busy, ain't you, this week, getting your face out there and showing everyone the belt.
Yeah, it's good, and people are going to be sick of the sight of it. Cause I'm taking the belt on tour around Cornwall to go to every amateur club, every bar, restaurant, anywhere I can have a photo taken in. It's going, because who knows when it's going to come back here. It hasn't happened for 85 years. It might not happen for another 90. So enjoy it whilst it's here. It's a good problem to have, all these interviews.
Brad, just one quick question. So before we came on, we've been worried about sharks, hammerhead sharks in particular. And obviously you being down on the coast, the Nuki Bomb. Do you ever get to see any hammerhead sharks out and about?
Yeah, do they still exist?
In general? Yeah.
Not hammerhead. We have basking sharks, not a basking shark.
Yeah, they're harmless, aren't they?
They're harmless, yeah. So that's
all sharks are harmless. They got fins, Deck.
Hey, not those fucking street sharks with the biceps.
Yeah.
You get basket sharks. You ever seen one?
Yeah, they're massive. They just wouldn't hurt you, but nothing would really hurt you down here. You're pretty safe. So get in the.
Yeah, you're a bit younger than us, Brad. But yeah, when we were kids, hammerhead sharks, they were all the talk of the town, and tiger sharks. You just don't, no one cares about the hammerhead shark anymore. I think we should bring it back. And I don't want to take credit. We don't want to take credit on this podcast, but obviously you got in touch.
Yeah, to take all the credit from me.
Yeah. So that.
Be honest.
Yeah. How was it? So that was 2023 February, the Tyler Denny fight, right?
Yeah.
And you were just at a bit of a loss there. You were like, what do I do? Like, what do I do here? How do I bounce back from this?
Yeah, it was a really strange one. I hadn't lost a fight in almost 10 years, and then I did, and I had to. It was really difficult to take. I needed any advice I could get. I know George would have some good advice. Obviously, he's been in a very similar situation, and whatever I've done from the Denny fight, I feel has worked. Whatever you've said in that episode has worked. Need improvements. I will give you some credit. But I did, and people say it all the time, like, oh, it's a blessing in disguise. But I went away after that fight and I changed loads of stuff. I got a nutritionist, I got a mindset coach, but I really doubled down with everything that I was doing and invested in it, and just made everything a little bit better in camp. So, yeah, I think the Brad that fought Denny wouldn't have beat Heaney. So it's something that happened for me, and the experience again was brilliant. So yeah, it's how it goes.
And
well done, Brad.
Look what you've turned me into. All thanks to
the British
English. If it wasn't for you guys.
Okay, well, can we cut that? We'll cut that up for socials. And obviously, there's no such thing as a good defeat. But the Tyler Denny defeat now, like, no one can beat him. Would you like another crack at Tyler Denny?
Happily, I'll take that fight. I think it'd be interesting. I feel Tyler's improved quite a bit, and fair play to him. He's done very well. He's a very good fighter, but I have definitely also improved a lot. So I think a rematch would be really interesting, a British versus a European champ. So definitely one to take in the future. But at the moment, I think he needs the fairest crack of the whip. I think it's the right thing to do. But it's a stacked division, the middleweights. There's so many good fights out there. So, yeah, see what happens. But definitely.
And Brad, you brought the belt back to Cornwall. Is there a venue there where you can bring the big nights down to, where we can get that? Or is it just going to be on the beach at the Shake Shack?
Battle on the beach. I've had this problem before. There doesn't have the right hospital close enough.
Oh, yeah. You told us that.
Yes. It's a bit of a...
He was going to build a hospital, weren't we? That was the plan.
Yeah, shit.
We'll have to hospital. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to... If you get 2 helicopters at the show and they can make it to the closest hospital faster enough.
Yeah.
Then, so...
That's an idea.
Something. If he could lend us one, we'll stick it next to the beach. It's really difficult to set up, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, carbon footprints be a bit big for that, though, isn't it? Just 2 helicopters hovering over the...
It's not good for the hammerhead sharks, is it?
No, it's basket sharks who shit themselves. Well, maybe one day. I mean, maybe that's the next dream. You spoke it into existence, British champion. You know, Tyler Denny could be an opportunity for a European title. Obviously, he's got a big fight against Hamza Shiraz. What do you think happens in that fight?
It's going to be close. I actually favour Denny a little bit, not because he beat me. He's a really difficult person to look good against, Denny. He's a very small target and he moves all the time. He knows how to rough you up. Don't think Hamza's boxed anyone like Denny. So I do slightly lean towards Denny, but it's, great fight.
Well, Brad Pauls, we'll let you get back to your busy week of interviews. Obviously, did the most important one first thing with your 2 black eyes.
So thanks, guys.
Is it? Yep. Yes. Thanks for your time, mate, and the new British middleweight champion.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brad.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Well, there we go then, Deck.
Who would have thought? Hot off the press. I mean, we did say the new series of the GGBC would be bigger and better than ever. We just got Brad Pauls in with his 2 black eyes in his British middleweight title.
He loves black eye, doesn't he, Brad Pauls? I mean, I've seen Brad Pauls many, many times, and I reckon at least half the times I've seen him, he's got 2 black eyes. Do you not agree?
He loves. It's same with CBS. He's a black eye man as well.
I think they come out. Obviously, they come out during the fights, but they might come out just randomly a bit. I don't know, certain emotions. When he's happy, sad,
whenever
excited.
He thinks about a shark. He just gets
shark.
A black eye.
Yeah, Nuki Bomb. That's probably why, isn't it? If it's just shark themed all the time. Yeah.
So he's got sharks everywhere, and he's the British champion. And it was all thanks to you, really, George. He said, and you taught him the shot that he dropped Heaney in the 4th. So,
stop. Yes, I did. You're right. Yeah, I'll teach him how to do that as well.
Indeed.
Right, next part of the show, we're going to move straight on to what's happening this weekend, which is Derek Delboy War Chisora is fighting Joe. Is it just Joe? Is it always Joe? It's never Joseph, is it? Joe.
No, just Joe.
Yeah. So Chisora's back in action. And I thought, well, when's the last time Chisora's coming off a win, isn't he? Against George Washington.
Gerald Washington.
Gerald Washington, same thing.
George Washington, he's the president, isn't he?
Right, yes. And Joyce coming off winning against Cash Ali. So this is it. Yep. This is the one. I saw Chisora. We were both sharing a little flight home from Saudi.
I thought you said you were sharing a Deliveroo then, but no, so sharing a flight, were you?
No. You're hinting at that video that went viral. That was the alleged Derek Chisora who sticks the nuts on a Deliveroo driver, and
must have
obviously
his mayo.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. You obviously straight away think, oh, he didn't pack a knife and fork, the plastic knife and fork. But Derek's a cool guy. It won't be that. He's an ambassador of the fast food industry.
Yeah.
He why would he? Why?
Maybe delivery drivers. He said 5 guys are shit.
Yeah, do you reckon?
Something like that. He's like, I prefer Mackie D's.
Mackie D. Well,
should get him on and ask him, really.
We should. But no one's tracked him down, delivery driver. As soon as we tracked him down, we'll get him on and ask him.
Yeah.
So
a bit busy.
So much fun. But this is a good fight, Deck. It's always a good fight.
Hold on. No, wait.
Is-
Tell us about the flight. Tell us about the flight. You and Chisora on a flight, because that
Right, let's
sounds
go
like
back.
fun.
So me and Chisora on a flight back from Saudi, we were the ones who got the first ones out via, I think we went Gulf Air or something. So yeah, we weren't sitting together, like, you know, it wasn't Warren Hearn-esque, but we had a little bit of time in the lounge, and he was saying to me, he was like, "Don't you miss it? Don't you want to still box?" And I said, "Nah." I said, "Why? Do you?" He goes, "Yeah, I love it. I want to box." So, and then the next day announced he was fighting Joyce. And then I did wonder, I was thinking, if that wasn't signed, he might have been just questioning me for that last opinion. And if I said, "Go for it, Del Boy, go on, live your dream, mate. Just fucking live in the moment one more time, man in the arena." Or if I'd said, "Del Boy, don't do it, Dereck."
He still would have.
I could have made a difference.
Nah, he does what he wants.
Or I could have ended up like that delivery driver. That could have been it.
Yeah,
Way, here's your 5 guys, but mate, you should call it a day. Boom.
What we have got on Saturday at the O2, George, is 78 years between them. 78 years of heavyweight.
So how old's one and how young's the other? Fucking hell.
Well, Derek Chisora's 40.
Right.
And
I
Joe
thought
Joyce
you meant one was like, I don't know, 100, and one was like, 22 or something. Okay, I got you.
No, 40 and 38. And I think there'll be about 38 stone between them, just of two flesh and bone just walloping into each other. I mean, people love a heavyweight fight, and this is one of those where you're like, it's almost surprising they haven't boxed yet. I don't think they wouldn't have crossed paths as amateurs either, because Chisora was long gone by the time Joyce was around. I think like they're just different, but this seems like such a obvious fight. Two sort of big men of their era. Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora coming off a win, but that was August. Joe Joyce boxed actually in the last Magnificent Seven when Heaney Pauls won that one in March. He boxed Cash Ali, won, but it was a lackluster performance, I think it's fair to say. No disrespect to Joe. So what do you think happens in this fight? It's impossible to say. Like what happens? There was a time when you think, well, Joe Joyce just got to walk through him, but I really don't know.
Yeah, depends how fresh both guys are, really, because no one really walked through Chisora.
No.
Really, when you think about it, do you know what I mean? He's a force. He's a big man. He got probably the worst, most soundly he got beat was against Tyson Fury in their last fight.
Yeah.
But if you think about their previous fight or fights, I can't remember if they had 2 or 3.
Yeah.
He pushed him. He pushed Klitschko. He's pushed Hayes. He's a handful, as well as the big wins that he had throughout his career. But even though they're probably not that far off in age, because Joyce turned pro so late, he just feels like he's much fresher, and he had the loss against Zhang that looked pretty bad, like the last one. But other than that, you're wondering, well, what are the miles on the clock for him compared to the miles on the clock for Chisora? And you think, Chisora sets off at a lightning pace for a heavyweight, incredible pace in the first half of the fight, and then usually slows up and fades, whereas Joyce can just keep motoring on. He has a different sort of pace, but a really intense pace for a heavyweight. But has he still got that in the locker deck? I'm not sure. I think it's a fascinating fight. I think if you asked most people, they'll pick Joyce as a pretty solid favorite, and maybe the bookmakers might be the same, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
They both get hit, don't they? They're both happy to take a shot. I think it could be, and Joe Joyce doesn't stop coming. Well, he does, unless Zhilei Zhang knocks him out, but he's just going to keep coming and keep walking forward. Derek Chisora much the same. I just can't. It's kind of weird. I can't really work out what's going to happen here. I can't. It's an intriguing fight. I remember when it was first made, it was a bit one of those. Really, like they're two kind of aging guys, big guys. But now I'm like, yeah, I'm just very excited to see what's going to happen. One question, George. What do you think? If Joe Joyce wins, and like you say, he's the favourite here, and he wins, and he should win, really, he should be beating a 40-year-old Derek Chisora, really. Like, Joe Joyce, at one point, people were saying he was the third best heavyweight in the world. Given what's happened to him with Zhang in particular, and the water under the bridge and the sort of disappointing performance against Cash Ali. How far off the sort of top do you think Joe Joyce is? Do you think at 38 years old, he's 16-2? Do you think he's got a chance of getting back up in the mix at heavyweight? Like, do you really think, or can he sort of kiss that idea goodbye now? Or is he only a couple of wins away?
Well, we'll know a bit more after Saturday, won't we?
Yeah.
Because if he's electric on Saturday, then the question will be, was he good or was maybe Chisora not? But when you think of who those elite guys are right now, and there are probably feels like more than ever, more of them than there has been the last decade or so, or who, all of a sudden now Parker is up there in a shout. If like trying to pick your top three,
Joyce Joe Parker. Like in 2022, Joyce, knocked him out in the 11th, and now Parker's, one of the most active and in-form heavyweights there is.
Yeah, so Parker sort of win over Zhang sort of win over Joyce. It's like, so I think I would say that he could still be in and amongst it, Joyce. Why not? Why not? Because if you think, he's got the win over Dubois. Dubois fighting, technically he's heavyweight champion of the world now. He's got the win over Parker. You say Parker, would you pick Parker in front of Anthony Joshua right now? To beat him? You say yes or no. He's fought a better opposition, but does that equate to whatever? They're all boxing each other now. Really, you think about it. It's no longer sort of where, Anthony Joshua's the number one, but he's boxed everyone. And before him, maybe Wilder or Tyson Fury, and they were the number one, but then they've beaten, the others, the rest. But now the rest are fighting each other and they're beating each other, and it's fascinating. I think he's in there, Dereck. What do you think?
Yeah, he's one of them where if he looks good against Chisora, there's a chance he could look terrible against Derek Chisora. Like, there really is. Chisora might just get on his chest and swarm him, and like he could look bad, or he might look really good. And then you think, if you look through the names of the guys at the top, obviously Fury and Usyk notwithstanding, and then obviously Joshua and Dubois are tied up. You sort of think, Joyce is not. Nobody would want to fight him. Nobody's going to look at him and be maybe apart from Zhilei Zhang, he's probably have another go. But he's only a couple of wins. Joseph Parker is testament to that. The only one concern, is his age. He's 38, and he's never been that active because he's big heavyweight. Like he's 18 fights. He was on a fast track, of course, but I'm not sure. And there's a chance, Derek Chisora as well is going to bring the heat. Like, people will criticize him. People are always like, he shouldn't be boxing and stuff. I never like to suggest that people shouldn't be allowed to box and stuff. Like, he's 40 years old. He's a man. He's a grown man. He knows what he's doing. Who is anyone to suggest that he can't go and have a fight for money? Like, that's what this sport is. But I think he's got enough to make Joe Joyce have to work on Saturday. And if he hasn't, then it's a good night for Joyce. But I'm just not sure. I'm really intrigued by it. And Chisora is one of those ones as well. The older and more experienced he's got, sort of the more dangerous and almost like carefree he is. Like what he was saying to you on the plane. He just can't. It's what he does, isn't it? I remember he said in an IFL interview or something, he wants to fight. He wants 100 fights. No, what was it? He wanted 50 fights. Was it something like that? He's 34 and 13. So what's that? 47 fights he's had. Yeah, I think he was going for 50 fights, maybe. I'm not sure the Deliveroo driver counts as one on BoxRec. He's not shown up on BoxRec yet. It was unsanctioned, but I think he won. So I don't know. And I think if Joe Joyce knocks Derek Chisora out, he could quite happily walk into a fight with one of those sort of second tier heavyweights. And there's a lot of them. I did a piece in the Boxing News about who's next after Fury, Usyk, and Joshua, who probably will all be done within the next 18 months, 2 years. Obviously, Joe Joyce will be 40 at that point, so he's not in a new wave as such. But the point is, the door's kind of wide open. If Dubois beats Joshua, that changes everything. And Joe Joyce has already beaten Dubois. So who would you pick if Joe Joyce and Dubois were to fight now? It's a hard one, isn't it? Yeah,
no, it is. It really is. That's heavyweights, though, Dereck. They do this.
You used to hate heavyweights, now you can't get enough of them.
Well, yeah. And also, like, if this was like, would we have a different perspective of this fight if it was like on a Saudi card, like down the card on a Saudi card, because
Good
then
point.
it's like, would we all just go, oh, it's another great fight, it's another fight? Whereas because it's in the UK, it's at the O2, it's headlining, it's got a little bit more scrutiny attached to it. But ultimately, it is a really good fight. It's a really, really good fight.
Yeah, I think it's bold to be headlining the O2 with this fight. I don't know about you. I mean, they both sell tickets, but neither of them are well known for, like, that's a big arena. The good news is though, George, the undercard is fucking massive. We literally haven't got time to talk about them all. I'll just read out. Yeah, I've got the box rec here. So obviously Joyce Chisora at the top. Dennis McCann against Iron at Baluta, their rematch. That'll be good. The fight I'm looking forward to the most is Ryan Garner 15-0 against 25-0 Archie Sharp at super featherweight. Somebody's always got to go unless it's a draw. But I think that could be the fight of the night. Absolutely unbelievable. Raven Chapman against Johanna Sarabia. Obviously Chapman is sort of chasing that Sky Nicholson fight, featherweight. She's on the cusp of a world title. The one I like as well, 10-rounder, speaking of heavyweights, Moses Atalma against the one and only Marius Vac, who he's Vac in business, but Vac in business. But he's obviously a gatekeeper, isn't he? Like, well, I don't know, maybe more than a gatekeeper these days. Like, he was the one who took Fraser Clark.
Front gate or the?
He's at the back. He's at the back gate, but he's he bought Joe Joyce, didn't he, at the boiling hot York Hall? And no, not Joe Joyce, Fraser Clark.
Clark.
So he's the one you wheel out, and it's like, okay, if you think you're decent, see how you get on with this big Marius Vac. And over 10 rounds, I think it's a really good, lovely bit of matchmaking. Sean Noakes is in action. Royston Barney Smith, one of our best prospects. Umar Khan, who I met actually at the weekend at the Champs Barbershop, which is an amazing barbershop in the West End, which has got a ring in it. A barbershop with a ring, floor-to-ceiling bag, speed bag, heavy bag, everything. It's got a boxing gym with a barbershop in it, or vice versa. Anyway, Umar Khan was down there to interview Umar Khan, believe it or not. He's aiming to go 10-0. Brandon Lee, right? Brandon Lee. Do you know Brandon Lee? Wasn't Bruce Lee's son called Brandon Lee? Anyway, not him. He is the 28-0. What is he? 140 pounder? Yeah, light welterweight from California, who just randomly is signed for Frank Warren. Anyway, he's making his Queensbury Promotions debut. Adam Hamid, Nazim Hamid's son. We got to get him on here. And then also making his debut is Jermaine. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Do you want to have a go at it? Dilaweo? I'm always getting it wrong. Jermaine Dilaweo is a real amateur standout. Won the Box Cup and all that sort of stuff. And he is Chisora's.
That's the way I would have gone.
That's Dilaweo, yeah. He's Chisora's nephew. So
yeah.
That is a fucking long night, George. If you're working for someone that night, you want to be getting proper bunts on that.
Yeah, I'm not. I won't. At the moment, I'm not. But that is an epic card. But that's a Frank Warren card.
That's a proper old school Frank Warren card, isn't it?
He loves a stacked card.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see some knockouts that evening anyway. So,
I mean, you want to hope so. Otherwise, it'll be fucking 3 a.m. before we finish.
And Frank Warren has done that before as well. Yes. No, I think we will see some early finishes. Unless they're all draws, Deck. But you're the king of the draws. You know which one's a draw.
I don't see. I mean, Garner Sharp could be a draw. Got a draw written all over it.
Yeah, you can't rub it out either.
No. Okay. Well, Joyce Chisora, can I push you for a prediction as you're not working? What do you think happens?
Yeah. I'm gonna go Chisora. Why not?
Oh God, yeah.
I reckon. Chisora says he's got 3 fights to go. I've seen him. I've seen a bit of his sparring in the build-up. He's looked tasty. I haven't actually seen real sparring. I saw.
I knew that was a gag. I was like, when the fuck have you watched Derek Chisora spar in the last few weeks?
Derek Chisora actually doesn't spar anymore. He just
looks for delivery drivers.
He just has delivery. He just orders 5 guys, and if it happens, it happens.
Oh God,
which I'm a fan of. Yeah, who you picking, Deck?
I think Joe Joyce wins on points. 12-round points decision is what I think is going to happen. I don't want to say it, but I think it could. I think it will start good. I think the first 6 rounds will be good, and then Chisora is just so rugged and durable, isn't he? And like Joe Joyce really struggled to get rid of Cash Ali. Who's no mug. That was a decent comeback fight for Joyce after 2 knockouts against Zhilei Zhang. But yeah, I think Chisora's durable enough to get through the 12. I'm just not sure he's going to win on points in this fight. But that's what I think happens. 12 round points for Joyce, and a little draw for Archie Sharp and Ryan Garner. And the rest of them first round knockouts, so we can all get on.
Yes.
Well, that's how about that is back with a review and a preview. It's classic GGBC, George.
Yes, the Repre.
It's the Repre
Grand Prix is back. We're back. How about that then, Deck?
How about that? And we've got something else coming this week, have we? If we can fucking work out how to do it.
If we know, I mean, if you've heard this, then you're probably going to hear the some of the interview that we did last week with James DeGale.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, those of you who are sort of up to date and well versed in this sort of new world of like devices and that, you might have seen it on the YouTube, but you're a regular listener on the audios, which might be iTunes, it might be Spotify, it might be, and I don't need to plug them because we don't get any money out of them anymore, Amazon Music. But
if you do want to give us money, Amazon Music, we're
ready. We'll have a bit more of that. We want that cash. So you might have seen it, but you haven't actually listened to it. You might as well do both, really. So that would put out Wednesday for our listener, the real GBCs. And
this is going to be on YouTube as well now, George. Am I right in thinking?
Well, yeah, if there's any bits where we look handsome and pretty and funny, we'll cut it out. There are some clips of it later. Follow us. Definitely. So the YouTube channel, it's link in my bio. Same as always. Go on the socials, my social or the GGBC social. I should probably change that, which is Instagram, GGBC. George Groves Boxing. Now, what is it? What is the fucking Instagram?
It's
handle?
GG. It's GG Boxing Club.
GG Boxing Club. Still the same. Always the same. We're on X, Twitter X. We should probably update it and get some of them other ones the younger guys are listening to and kids. Like the fucking, I don't know, the TikToks. We got a TikTok, but we don't actually post much on there.
No, we should probably get into TikTok, shouldn't we?
TikTok. But and then hit subscribe to all of them. Hit your notifications, all of them, listen to all of them, share all of them, comment on all of them, send
comment on all
hilarious stuff to us. If you spot a shark,
that's what we need.
If you spot a shark, take a picture, send it in. You will be in with a chance of winning a signed GGBC glove.
I think
if it's a hammerhead shark and like you're holding it humanely, I'll give you a glove. But
I think if someone can take a selfie with a real life hammerhead shark, particularly underwater, we should get them on and do an episode with them.
And if anyone's got a figure of street sharks from the 90s and you still got the collection, let us know and we'll share that on the socials as well.
Yeah. But the hammerhead shark selfie is the holy grail now for this club. If you could do, I mean, surely we got a couple of divers in here. Like, don't put yourself at risk or anything. But yeah, we imagine someone gets a selfie underwater with a hammerhead shark. I want him on this podcast to tell us about it. Yeah, you could be the next Brad Pauls. You could. Basking sharks don't count though. Oh yeah. If you use a basking shark, I want a selfie from within its mouth, like Moby Dick. No, he's not. Literature. He's a whale anyway. Forget it. No, forget it. Sorry. Okay. Well, we're back. We're back in business. We've got a James DeGale episode coming later this week, and then I'll speak to you next week once Derek Chisora and Joyce have thrown their 78 years of meat around. Oh yes. Oh right. All right, George. See you then. Bye bye. Bye.